The last show I just had, called Evocative Images, are these little girls. You know, previously I mentioned I did images of cosmetic ladies. I was always so fascinated with these ads, you know, with these pencils and whatever. So these, it happens to be that I only have one other sibling, and it's a girl. So people think, a sister. So people think these are my sister and me, and they're not. They're from a Kohl's ad. These little girls, and I changed them so they are kind of like cartoonish or gangling arms and that kind of thing. But anyway, innocence is my most. Well, it's a recurring theme, but I've been focusing on these little girls quite a bit in the most recent work on the canvas, on the wood panels. I'm on wood panels, and I'm doing collage. So combined with these, I have Aang in there. I've got little collaged images of my sister in her communion outfit, and then they become just silhouettes sometimes. But anyway. Sometimes I have me, one of those early photos too, incorporated, or with the communion thing also, since we were raised Catholic. But these figures are kind of playful, I think. But I am touching on this idea of innocence in the work. For a period of time, I was working with, since I had the cancer, I was working with the idea of losing the breast, changing what your body looks like, you know, losing your hair, you know, with chemotherapy, which was almost worse than losing the breast in some ways. I'm shocked to say, you know, I think, oh, no hair, oh my God, you know, because here you can hide the fact that there's no breast, I guess. Anyway, it's all very traumatic for sure. And I did some paintings where I did piles of breasts. What did they do with those breasts when they cut them off, you know? So I made little mounds along with the torsos. No face, just torsos, or sometimes a face on the side. And some of that Venus was, you know, the Venus is part of it, and then the other image with a missing part to the body. In this particular work, I wanted to show it because I did do a number of pieces that include the mastectomy, the loss of a breast. So the figure has only one image. Interesting thing is the surgeon, she said, it's kind of like it's a new image, a new female image, she says. And, you know, like Cubism was. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way to put it. You now have a new kind of body, you know. Because a lot of people do reconstruction. I didn't really decided I didn't want another 7 or 8 surgeries. You know, they go to all those surgeries. And anyway, making a nipple and a tattoo. Each one's a separate surgery. Anyway, Jonathan Borofsky is a sculptor, and I had been to New York, and they were showing his piece, a diagonal piece with these figures, and that's where I got this division. And when I did the other works on the mastectomy and stuff, I split the figure in two. I did all this. This case, I'm splitting the piece of paper in two, and I have little girls, dolls in the right here, an angel-like figure, a winged figure here, and this almost like a dancer there, kind of a euphoric sense. And then these, I've been enjoying looking at Jasper Johns, a figure of a man that he did to a silhouette of these gray men that he had done. He did them in etching, he did them in painting, and so most of these incorporate that. Looking at the body, really, you know, looking at the human form. In art, it's kind of a tough thing to divide something in half. This is pretty much divided in half, you know, and so I seem to keep trying to do that at various times for some reason, and see if it really pulls back together again. But that's what you feel like, though, when you're sort of off balance, you know, part of you is gone. I mean, you can, obviously a lot of reconstruction work is done, but I chose not to do that. not quite as red, yellow, and blue like those others, because it's more muted, more blacks, more graphite is used in here. I'm combining drawing directly along with the collage. This is drawn directly here. Those parts are collage. Of course, these are also. And I had taken a trip to Turkey, and they had the Cappadocia Virgin, which I loved. And the art that they painted on the walls there and everything was so fantastic. And this is Venus, because I've used Venus many years. Mostly Botticelli's Venus, but this is Rubens' Venus. Rauschenberg used this. A lot of artists have used that image, you know, of the Rubens Virgin, and the reflection, kind of duality there. I'm not sure what had me, why I kept the rectangle. I kept the rectangle. It gives a sense of order, of course, but that's how I ordered most of these pieces, were this geometric. And I'm the worst person with geometry. That is, I make crooked lines when I draw the lines, and people keep wondering why I keep doing that, but keep using the hard edge. I think it contains it. It's kind of powerful to have the hard edge. Anyway, I'm also using these tower-like forms, which maybe can be seen as phallic too, but they are piercing forms. Not so noticeable in this one as maybe some of the others, but anyway, this superimposing and moving into the arena. And then sometimes these collages break down. I mean, when I'm gluing it, I don't get it quite right, you know, so whatever. So then I rip it off, or leave some of the areas worn out, looking like that, by choice. Or sometimes I do it on purpose, or sand them, or do different things. Like this has been sanded to give a different texture to the area, so it's not all so polished looking. And then this kind of yellowish tint here is grayed yellow. Is somebody referred to it as, it's kind of like a night light, you know, not really bright daylight, you know, or whatever. That kind of a muted yellow. Muted is a whole different emotional feeling. Paintings that deal with the loss of a breast and the image of woman, it's really the image of woman. I really don't think I was using it. It maybe helps in some way, I guess. They say art is therapeutic, so I don't know. But I wasn't consciously trying to heal myself that way that I'm aware of. I was trying to incorporate, in some cases it was like drawing on a chalkboard along with painting images. So I was using a multiplicity of ideas in the work besides just looking at the breast. They keep saying women are have more degrees and more things happening, but they still don't have the equal pay yet. And a lot of the jobs that are being cut are jobs that women are in, unfortunately. I mean, education still a big one, and they've cut a number of those positions, especially in the public schools. And I was just reading something from last year, I guess it was, about in Italy, how the women aren't taken seriously there because of Berlusconi owning, well, that's one of the reasons, but, and maybe not all, but owning all the TV stations and stuff, and the way he treats women, you know. And sometimes I think they're going back to like selling a car by having a woman there. It's almost like that, you might say, you know. How even those very high heels, like we were talking about, some of those images, that whole painting with the little girls, I did piles of shoes, like the artist Armand had done as assemblage, but high heel shoes, so important to the image of woman. And well, I can't, not me, because I stand up, will fall on my face, but what do to wear I remember when I was that age, you want to wear these things that are ridiculous almost, you know. You want to, like Lady Gaga, 10-inch shoes and neat outfits. Yes, I think I would like my work to be remembered for the perseverance and the struggle that goes on in the images and the juxtaposition of these images and the interweaving, I guess, because I work with layers, you know, of meaning and layers of images to convey what our life is like. I mean, it's just not a simple one-shot thing. So much happens on so many different levels in our lives. So that's the struggle, I think. And I guess that's why I have like figures in chairs that are toppling, or it's this movement, this kind of energy, action, or tumbling and motion.